And we're hanging out.
What's up?
I always surprise Bear with the go live button.
Except he usually surprises me mid rant, so caught me off guard this time, huh?
Yeah, this time it was just blatant silence. It's like I feel like you were talking about your job interview. You're doing the Josh thing. You're going for a job.
The Josh thing. I am. It's a part-time job, but for these folks, they consider part-time to be 32 hours a week, which I'm grateful for. Gives me a little extra time, but also gives me a little extra money.
Wait, you got hired?
I gotta find out today, hopefully.
Did they?
So it's interesting because the person that I had email correspondence with is out of a head office in St. Louis, I believe. So he set up the interview, but I interviewed with a completely different person here in Nashville at a different office.
Oh, so you talked to like the upper management person, or was it like a hiring?
It was the creative director for the company.
That was the Don.
And I interviewed with the chief happiness officer. So everyone out there in the internet world, if you want to aspire to be something in life, let it be a chief happiness officer.
Can you imagine that job pitch when that position, like, did he pitch that position to the company or did the company come up with it, do you think?
I think in the digital age, it's a rising job. Like it's a real title across a lot of companies.
That's the person that's like replying to Yelp reviews.
And another thing I was surprised by is this was an office in a corporate tower in downtown Nashville, and it was all open, and they had it set up kind of like a cafeteria on the inside, all long tables, all of them covered with computers, and everyone was
everywhere.
They had 2 beer taps in there, believe it or not. But
I do believe it.
Everyone was sitting in that one room together. It was like 20, 25 people just crammed in there. I didn't expect that.
I think a lot of creative offices or just regular offices do that lately. I mean, there's some in Seattle. Maybe it's because like they're constantly businesses moving in and out of those floors. But like in Seattle, I looked at some and they're just like you said, kind of open areas. There's a dog in one.
Probably. So I catered for a little bit here in Franklin, and there are a lot of neat office buildings. But anyway, Mars Pet Care is stationed here, and we catered to them once. You can bring your dog to work. Everyone had a dog in the office. It was the best thing I ever saw.
How come you're not working for them?
I went to the bathroom. I had to go around a couple corners, and I walked by a conference room, and there's a table full of people. There are like 10 dogs in there just hanging out.
Oh, so the dogs were having a conference.
Yeah. I mean, Mars Pet Care is very obviously run by actual talking animals.
What did you interview for?
I interviewed for a photographer position for a social media company. Not Facebook type of social media, but a company that manages other people's Facebooks. And
like The Rock.
Yeah, it's something I'm really pumped about because photography is one of my original loves, and if I can make a paycheck doing that and come home and work on art at the end of the day, that's fantastic. But it'll involve going around setting up little 5-hour shoots at businesses, companies in the area, all context shoots for marketing campaigns, getting atmospheres of restaurants or food products or whatever, bars, all that.
So you're going to be like writing reviews, or so you are okay?
No,
so you're going to be managing the expectations of whoever comes to that page. Like you're crafting the personality of the business.
Well, just through the photography. I'm not going to do any of the copywriting or making the marketing plan. I'm just going to be providing the images. So, and it's really nice because they provide the equipment. So I'm excited to get my hands on some of those new Sony cameras, tear it up.
I can't wait. I hope that, so they're going to call you like tomorrow?
Today, tomorrow, St. Louis, now, they're on a different schedule.
Did you put your phone on silent for the show?
No, why would I?
If they call you during the show, will you put them on speaker?
Absolutely.
I'm calling you. I'm gonna pretend to be them. No, that would be really cool. We can have an actual success on air of sorts. Well, cool. And then you're gonna make art. Yeah, you know, some people. I don't know how I feel about this. Some people say that you shouldn't get a job that is too close to being creative and then come home and also be creative. I've heard people say like you should get, like if you're a painter, you should get a job that's as far away from painting as possible, like a waiter. You know, you see a lot of waiters, waitresses. And I don't know how I feel about that.
For me, I hate that idea, honestly, because I'm a firm believer of the art life, and I want to carry it into every aspect of what I do. And even if it's just a job that I'm trying to pay the bills, if it can be a creative job, then my happiness is going to skyrocket, and I'm going to be able to be creative throughout the day. And then when I get home, I'm still going to be geared towards being creative, and the process is just going to flow seamlessly throughout the day.
Also, I feel like that creativity could bolster your success in the original job. Like, what if at the job you're at, you know, you're able to craft the composition or the color modes of shots because of your knowledge of illustration at the home. I don't know. Maybe you're taking good ideas and putting towards something that's not yours. But we'll see. I don't know. I'll talk to you about it in 3 months.
Well, I've heard that before from you and from a few other people, the idea of getting an unrelated job, but happiness is a thing, and I've found that when you're depressed, your art suffers, and I think you should pursue whatever job's going to pay well and guarantee a little bit of happiness.
I would like to say to everyone here that if I'm ever depressed is when you've seen my best paintings.
Well, it is different for everyone.
If you're wondering how I pump out that really big scene of all the people with like amazing details, the answer is I'm sitting in my room and I'm sad and I'm trying to take my mind off of it by painting.
See, I'm a sunshine kid. I need smiles to work. I really do.
Joy. So I wonder, a lot of people talk about introverts and extroverts. I don't think any of that's true, but no, I think that's just what I wanted to say. That none of that's true. I think people are just different.
Yeah, well, tell us about it. What happened to your depressive state?
No. I was about to say that like maybe you're more of an extrovert. It's like you soak up energy from like being maybe a little social or going outside or doing things, and then you bring that energy back to your introverted life. Whereas I actually kind of feel like I do things in my room, get energy from painting, and then can go out and do things. And that could be like the whole extrovert introvert thing, but the world's not black and white. And I think that we're actually just people who we're not people with levels of energy. I think that we just have things that we enjoy.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, that's not wrong. I mean, I'll say we went to the farmer's market Saturday, and every time we go, I try to take my camera, and anytime I'm out, really, I try to make it a habit of taking my camera. And not that I'm an uber professional studio photographer, but it's where a lot of my ideas come from, is going out and capturing images from life and being out among the world. And that, you're right. I bring that back to the studio with me.
That's a good, yeah, you're actually working that outness into the studio aspect of things. I like that a lot.
That's something I've been thinking about that a lot lately, is how to make my work relevant. How can I get that connection with people? And
it would
being out in the world encourages that, I think.
It would be really cool if like you went on weekend or Monday, Tuesday or something expeditions where the first part of your work week would be you going out eating or something, or bar hopping or something, and taking pictures of things, whether it's like stealthily with the phone or with your big camera, of things that seem interesting. Yeah, well, you know how you look at things, like the girl looking in her bag, or the person in the raincoat, or sitting on the fence. And then you take that theme and come back and create the works of art based. Like if this entire week was scenes from a farmer's market based off of those things.
Yeah, that's pretty much the process.
I mean, okay.
No,
I
it's
guess they don't
weird.
have to be themed.
I did that a lot in Louisville. I really every time I went out, I took my camera and I had no shame about getting in people's faces and taking their pictures and talking to them, asking them questions, and I got out of it. So now I'm just trying to
Yeah.
build my courage back up to get aggressive with it again.
Well, I know that you weren't like in a in a really amazing place in Louisville, and it's weird when you're feeling a little bad. It's actually easier to go out and do those kind of drastic things too.
Yeah.
You know, if I ever miss home or I'm not feeling like I'm getting painting done, I actually have no problem going to a new restaurant and just talking to every waiter there. I will say some ridiculous stuff if I'm in the mood to.
No, you're right. I'm guilty of just flat out creating a character and going to a bar and
That's me. I once went to a restaurant here and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna pretend that it was one that it was like a country club, and I went and I was like, I'm gonna pretend that I'm rich. So I would walk in and there's these people. They're like, oh yeah, we can't use the pool table because we're not technically members and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'll just buy this place. I'm gonna look into real estate here actually.
I mean, it can be invigorating when you go to the bar, and even if you're just, I mean, the bartender doesn't care what you have to say anyway. So make up a character and strike up conversation with them, and it's exploring, it's character acting. I guess you're exploring this different field of vision, and I get a lot of ideas from it.
Oh yeah, even if you're just changing yourself a little bit. Like, what if, we talked about introvert, extrovert. What if you're an introverted person and then you're like, you know what? For an hour, I'm gonna go pretend to be an extremely extroverted person, and then you could never go back to that restaurant again
Yeah,
because
of
you
course.
probably said or done something terrible.
You got to pick restaurants that you don't really plan on going back to because
No,
you'll forget the character you were playing at that one restaurant, and it's downhill from there.
or I did this one thing. I went to Chili's. In Chile, I went to have a brunch at Chili's like every other Wednesday when I lived in Oxford, and you get to know the bartender. And I enjoyed the bartender. And I think one time I said something stupid and I felt embarrassed about it. But I had gone there so much that I knew that person or that staff of people only worked on Wednesdays. Sounds really creepy. Only worked on Wednesdays. And so I switched my days to Thursdays when I knew they didn't work and just started talking to a whole new group of people. It was like, oh, I can fix this. I don't want
They're
to lose
going back and looking at the tapes and saying, "Did you talk to this guy? Yeah, he said this and this," and they're like, "Wait, what?"
he had a mustache then.
That's right. You can just grow a different beard every time you go.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, grow a different beard.
I'm excited this week. My friends are playing a big show Friday in Nashville, and Thursday I'm gonna go hang out with them and bring my camera and set up a photo shoot of them during their rehearsal and kind of be a part of that environment for a little bit. So I'm excited for that.
What if instead of like you should bring in models, like hire nude models to just come and sit around while they're really get in the way of their performance.
That's the plan.
Be as jarring to them as possible.
Gosh, I hate our local jute joint. This photographer comes every weekend and he just gets right in the band members' faces and right in the middle of their guitars with his camera, and I just want to deck him. I think the owner banned him, to be honest.
I wish that. So we went to see, I think, a Stars concert in Nashville years ago, and there was a woman there with a press pass, and she was a very large woman too. She walked up to the front. She got to the front by saying, I'm press. And then she would just sit there. She didn't care for the show at all. She was on her iPad, front row of the show, just clicking pictures in the other hand. And at one point, I just like pushed her out of the way and was like, sorry, I'm press. I'm press too. You jerk. And those people, I understand people like pictures of their singers, but there's an art gallery here. A guy will do the same thing with his camera, just kind of be in your face, trying to take pictures of the art while you're looking at it. And man, those people need to be banned. They need to be.
Absolutely.
we're terrible people. We're like band people. I don't think we should advocate that.
No, man,
Unless
it's
you're,
fine.
I don't know. This all stems from Roy Doyle. I don't think, it's just always with his camera.
Yeah, we'll get him on in the future.
We should get Roy on.
I'm
photography.
So these are the same friends from high schools, and it's always whenever I can get in the music scene and be on the fringes of it, because I can't play an instrument, but I like being a part of that environment. It really fuels any creativity.
Yeah, I think it's fueling.
Because, everyone loves music, and everyone wishes they could play music, but
I think any creative thing, this goes back to the job thing, any instance, not necessarily where you're being creative, but seeing have you ever seen a person paint and then you're like, oh, I don't have a choice, I have to go paint now? Like you can't stand it. You have to go. Once you see someone being creative, there's a little tick in your head that's like, oh, I have to go do that now.
Yeah,
and
it happens all the time.
I think that's exactly what you're meaning when you say being around that creativity there.
It is, and the energy is can't compare to it.
Whenever I'm in a room with people who only want to like play video games or watch TV and that's their whole point, I feel utterly drained, actually. Unless it's, I don't know, something about people who are not as creative, I try and stay away from them. Because I don't know, even like my Facebook wall, if you post something about politics or food, I'll unfollow you immediately, because I want my Facebook feed, the few times I go there, to be all about like, I need it to drive that creative energy in me.
Yeah, it's the company you keep, right? And that's, I don't know if you remember, but when Bruce Levinson and Robert Storr came to Delta State to talk, Robert Storr was the chair of the Yale art department. He talked about, I guess you missed that lecture. It was a really good one.
Wait, hold on. There was the chair of the Yale art department came to Delta State?
Yeah, Bruce gave a performance and Robert Storr gave a lecture, and then the next day they had a Q&A at the art department.
I remember that being really hyped up for Bruce Levinson, but I didn't remember I have no idea who the other guy was, so I just really didn't care.
Yeah, he was a wealth of information, but he made a great point about early in his life he did this, and then he really encouraged, I think it was his son or his son-in-law or his stepson, one of those three, to do the same. He was a creative individual, but didn't go out much, was leaving high school, about to go to college, and couldn't decide if he wanted to go to school or not. And he said, well, look, come move to New York, get a job, I'll help you pay the rent for a year, but go out to the museums, go to concerts, go out into the creative community and be a part of it. And that I'll support you as long as you do that.
I feel like I've talked about that before, but like that seems to be a constant where people are in situations where they feel like they can't do it, like the whole 1 year rent thing. It probably came to a point where that deal was like running on its end, and maybe not being able to make the rent or something like that, but being kind of in control of the creativity in that company seems to drive people to be at that greatest point of success. I'm trying to remember his name. Conversations with People in 60 Minutes. Beautiful People, whatever. What is it? Who's that guy? Chris Gethard? He's a huge fan of talking about like, oh, he had a job as a waiter trying to be a comedian, and his therapist told him one day, like, why the hell do you have this job as a waiter? Like, you're not getting any influence from this job as a waiter, you dumbass. Quit your job as a waiter, get a credit card, take out a loan, whatever, pay your rent, and just do nothing but go to comedy clubs every single fucking night. And so he did. I wouldn't have done it. I was gonna say something. I'm not brave enough for it, but he quit his job, was going to these comedy shows every night, and sure enough, that's when he got his break, because he was suddenly, not only are you being invested in that creative energy of everyone else around you that you're experiencing, but or soaking it in, but you're also like utterly in control too
Yeah.
of what you're soaking in versus like being a waiter and being kind of out of control of your 8 hours of your day. No, anyway, your story made me think of that. Sorry to tangent it, but I think that's exactly what you're getting at is
Yeah, that plays into it.
being that mentality.
And I mean, you can't, of course, you got some friends that probably aren't creative individuals, but I think the more time you can spend around those people, you know, if you go out with people who are, I don't know, in IT or engineers, and you can have a good time, you go out and get drunk and hang out and talk. But when you can do the same inside of a creative community, then all of the conversation, all of the experience is going to be geared towards creation. I mean, it's all going to feed into it.
Yeah, I'm not advocating that people quit their jobs. Just
No,
go hang out
me
with
neither.
people. I think that it's like Todd worked at McDonald's and he worked when he was a kid, he worked in a lumber yard and he worked working with leather or sewing and things like that. And he said that all of those jobs actually ended up coming back to helping him in his career because now he knows things about lumber. He knows things about like the stitching of fabrics so for when he paints fabrics. And I think that those, after you go to this rehearsal, you're going to know things. If you were to go to a rehearsal every week, you're going to know things about music that you can put in your work that no other person will know.
Yeah, and you know, I love my wife, but she's in grad school now, so I get 2, 3 nights a week where I can go out and do these things, like go to the rehearsal and just totally dive into that world for at least a few hours. And you know, it's a way to cheat and do it, which I kind of like.
Greg Manch has posted, I'm not going to try and find the post, but he said one time, watch a lot of movies and then make notes about how people are handling the same problems that you will eventually handle. Like, how did these people put armor together? How did they tackle the composition of this crowd scene? And then he made a joke. He was like, and you can tell your wife you're working while you're watching movies because you are. And it's that same idea. Your mind's always problem solving. Just soak in everything that you can.
Yeah, that's something I've really caught on to this year, is just watching a lot of film, just exploring all mediums has greatly had an influence on my work this year.
I think that if you want to be a creator, the best thing you can do is watch movies. I mean
Absolutely.
that. I think that I actually don't do it enough, but because I'm like, oh, I can't watch a movie, I've got to paint. But
yeah, it is time consuming, but it's worth it.
You should watch a lot of movies actually, because you'll know a lot of imagery, a lot of storytelling. Movies are like the fastest way. It's like lab mice. Does this work? I don't know. Let's try it and see. And then you can just see it immediately and have a response to it immediately without having to paint something, Should I put a light behind this guy's head? Well, let me paint it and see if it works. That'll take 8 hours. Or you could just go look at a light behind some guy's head in a film.
Yes, there are a lot of directors that know how to put on a master class in lighting, and
or just
nothing like it.
I think yeah. I was going to talk about Baby Driver again.
Talk about Baby Driver again.
I'm not. No, they just composed shots are really amazing. I like to see anytime there's like an overhead shot or a worm's eye view shot in a movie, I will take a screenshot of that immediately. I also like pausing movies when like no character's face is in the shot, and then like to say, okay, what elements of this picture are telling me a story? And if it's done well, you'll still know what's going on in the scene. Or like really quick action movies where you can still keep up. There's a reason you can still keep up, and it's because like they're posing the characters in a way that's like, oh, this is what they're doing. And then taking cues from that and taking it back to painting.
Yeah, the other half of that I think is at least for me, is mindset. When you're watching a movie, maybe not all movies, slasher films and some other films don't qualify for this, but most important films, every scene is important. Every piece of the composition is important. So the more you start to think about that and get into it, the more engaged you become in the film. And again translates right back into painting.
Right. Yeah. And I think if we're doing what we're supposed to, we should all be telling stories. I mean, even if you should be creating something that's yours.
You should be creating something that's yours, and you should be mindful of the brushstrokes. Every layer of paint you lay down should have purpose to the overall composition.
I think it was Sargent that was like really big into making that precise brushstroke.
Just one little takes him about 2 hours to finish one brushstroke on the cheek.
Yeah. I talk about that in my upcoming tutorial about like taking time to really look and say what color is that and how do I mix it, and the problem solving of that.
Alan's got an upcoming tutorial, everybody.
Hands. All I have to do is edit it now. I think it's gonna be chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Hands.
But I think it's gonna be like 5 hours of just me painting 2 different hands. Maybe I'll do another painting and just record it really fast. I don't know.
Tell everybody where they can find it.
It's in my Gumroad. You just type it in.
Type in Gumroad and then type in Bear Isles, and you won't find anything.
Oh God. We should put this on Gumroad for free.
Absolutely.
Can we do that? An audio recording?
I think.
I wanted to add an entire page to my website, but apparently when I bought the Squarespace at the beginning of the year, I was a jerk and went for the cheaper option. So now I can only have like a certain amount of pages.
20 pages.
God. But you know what's... I don't know. Whatever.
You can upgrade.
I should upgrade. But then I don't know. I should probably do that. I should look at the graphic traffic to my website.
Graphic traffic.
So, what were we talking about?
Man, we're talking about creativity. We're talking about happiness.
Oh, yeah. Paint when you're sad.
Paint when you're happy.
No.
Paint all the time.
Somebody once asked Robert Smith of The Cure, hugely successful band in their time. They said, why are all your songs so sad? And he said, it's not, I write a lot of happy songs. It's just that those are all crap. So whenever I'm sad, I have all these emotions that are really genuine that come out.
So that's an interesting thing that you've said, because I think last month, Kelsey and I had a big talk about this after we'd each read a book. It's really easy to write a sad story. And I was trying to think of all of the successful, happy novels I've read. And it's hard to come up with a list.
Yeah, send us a list of happy novels. I want to know. I immediately know that they're not. I mean, there's novels I've read that have a happy ending, but the premise of the story is pretty much all sad.
Yeah, I think it might be more difficult to make a successful, happy story that's not, I guess, cheesy or cliche.
It's kind of because stories don't exist without conflict.
Right. Except I've been reading a lot of Hemingway, and everything just ends in total tragedy and devastation.
I always kind of like the Western ending, where the ending is, the bad guy and good guy are facing off, and the good guy shoots him, and then the movie ends. I hate it whenever there's like the girl runs out and hugs him. I like it if the bad guy ends, if he dies, and the credits just immediately start rolling, because they don't show you the aftermath that is happy. They're just showing you like, look at all this devastation, and then it ended in a death. It's like, oh, at least you're telling a truer story. Then everything's fine now, despite all of the tragedy that came in this story. Happy story. I don't know. I've heard happy songs.
Yeah. Happy songs work. I don't know. Creativity and happiness. I'm going to write a book.
Yesterday, Sarah and I went out shopping, and we had a nice dinner, and I came back home and had a few drinks and went to bed. That's a pretty happy story.
I like it. You didn't seem too happy about the shopping part, but yeah, it was a happy story.
I mean, I was happy to be there. Is that a lie? Did I just lie? I think I did.
I hope
I was not
everybody's
happy about
enjoying the
Photoshop.
new Creative Cloud updates.
Yeah, download the new Photoshop version if you haven't.
Seriously, update Photoshop.
Really nice. And read the we need to they released the what would you call it? They released the update notes and it's really awesome. Read the update notes because there's things that change that you wouldn't know they changed. Read the update notes. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth checking out any videos on the brush updates and just kind of getting a full understanding of how those smoothing settings work.
I actually talk about that in my new tutorial.
Hey, everybody, Alan's got a new tutorial out.
Just in case you, what do you have coming out, Fair?
What do I have coming out? A lot of illustrations. I'll make a tutorial on coming up with ideas.
Oh, I forgot.
My Gumroad is just going to be full of $5 ideas that you can buy and use.
You could do the thing where you should give away the PSDs.
Yeah, I probably will.
You should do that. Size the image down by like 100 pixels. So that way you always have the larger version. Just give them the PSDs with the layers built in. People would like that.
That's a good idea. You doing these tutorials. I'm going to start a Gumroad today and upload my PSDs.
I can't actually do that because I merge everything down.
Yeah, I work on groups and layers.
Yeah, you should release a PSD.
I think let's.
I'm in favor of that.
I usually have 3 or 4 groups. So the way I work, I'll break down my process real quick. I do my sketch, and then I do another 2 or 3 iterations of my sketch, and then I create a folder that has the final lines. And that usually takes 20-30 minutes to get that exactly how I want it, and it goes quick because you've already got all those sketches right there. And then I make another folder for color, and I do a color sketch, and then on top of that I just fill in the lines with whatever my final color is.
Yeah, well, if you've got those layers, I want to see them.
All right.
I mean, that's interesting. I always want to see people's layers. I'm actually opening one of mine to see if I have any layers to give. I will straight give this high quality painting away for free. You can just have it.
You can have all my stuff. I don't care.
It's got a palette. It's got my reference. It's got my original drawing. Yeah, I'll give this away. Yeah, I'll upload this.
Look forward to that, everybody. Our PSDs are going to be on Gumroad. Anything to help.
Yeah. You know what? I actually I can't eat unless you pay for my free tutorials.
I don't care if you pay for mine.
I can't create art if I'm dying of hunger,
Give all your money to Alan.
If I don't have money, how can I eat money?
Also, here in the near future, once we get about 30 episodes in, maybe we'll have a Patreon going.
I'm allergic to $1 bills. I can only nutritionally. It's like I need a $5 bill. The cotton in that is a lot more. I survive off of.
This is what happens if you don't support Alan, everybody.
Dimes. I can't do dimes, pennies, quarters. No, nothing with metal. Just hundreds are actually. They keep me going for a day. I'll eat 100 in the morning. Dip it in some salad dressing.
You feel good about that? Feel good about what you've done here?
No. I don't feel good because I'm not eating. I like that joke. I was going with it.
You did a great job.
Carry it on. I eat money now. That's my thing. I don't want that to be my thing. Look forward to our Gumroads.
Look forward to the Gumroads. Look forward to us at AluxCon 2018.
Yeah, did you see? I actually did not see a lot of pictures coming out of that. I think people were too busy looking and talking. I heard people say, so we talked about this once. Tell me about your Spectrum experience. Did you like it?
I thoroughly enjoyed my Spectrum experience, but from the position of being able to communicate and network with other artists.
Yeah, I'm never going to go as a booth again. I feel like I thought about it a lot. I would really like to go as not a booth. I think you got a lot out of it. I would have loved to see Carl Ortiz talk, but instead I was just standing behind a booth.
And it's only by chance that any of us got to see her talk because who is it? The guy that did Darth Maul and Hellboy.
Ian McKeag.
Ian McKeag. He fell ill, and Carla stepped up to the plate and gave a whole lecture on the spot. So that was very kind of her. You make a great point about Spectrum, that it's an artist convention for artists. So
I want
having a booth, it's hard, definitely.
Originals apparently sold, which is what I hear at LuxCon too. So, no.
Well, yeah, within 10 minutes of the
say,
doors opening, Donato sold an original painting.
I heard people say they sold prints at Spectrum, but I did not hear that at all. Everyone I talked to was like, yeah, I sold originals. I don't know. I would like it if the setup were a little bit like a LuxCon, where you just put your stuff up and then just everyone could leave. I would like bidding. I want bidding, actually. Put your stuff on. I know it's not a good business model, but you're not going to make any money there anyway. Put your stuff up on a wall. Put a little piece of paper beside it. If somebody wants it, they can write their name.
Now that's an interesting idea, is set up a booth at a convention and have a personal silent auction.
They do that all the time.
I didn't even see that.
So like at Dragon Con, they do it. They have booths that are just for showing art, and then you can just write down a bid. And then they have booths that are like what you saw. But I think I would like to do my own. If I go to Spectrum again, I'm going to put my stuff up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Have your own booth as a silent auction for everything.
That's good. I like that. It doesn't even have to be an auction. I'll just sell the prints for
and then you don't even have to manage your booth. You can walk away. You can come back and talk to people.
Yeah, I can put a thing on there that says see, it takes away that
you'll have to have original art up though.
That idea. But like if someone's only there for one day and like, oh, what if I say I'll be there at 3 and then they can't be there at 3 and I've lost a sale?
Well, not really, because it's a silent auction. They can show up at any time and write down their name and the price they're willing to pay.
But then they have to come back and pick it up.
Yeah, well, that's the deal. You'll announce that everyone can pick up their art on the final day. Because
then they'd have to pay to get back into the... What if they're only there for a day, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's on them.
What if I say... what if I bring things that aren't for sale at the convention, and when they buy them, I just ship it to them?
That also works.
I don't know. I hear that doesn't work. I think people hate that. Well, I don't hate that. I hate carrying things out of conventions. It's my least favorite thing. That's why I don't buy. If I've ever been by your booth and I've liked your art, but I haven't bought it, it's because it's really hard to carry things.
It's hard to carry things, and then plus for a lot of these conventions, you have to fly places, and
yeah,
it's really hard to take art. Like when we went to Spectrum, I only had carry-on luggage.
Yeah, and if you had bought a Donato original,
and that's what prevented me from buying one of those Donato prints, is I really didn't have a convenient way to bring it back.
That's true. I have thought about taking tubes, but then it's like you have to ship tubes. Yeah, the Donato prints are they're $40. You get a big, nice print, good quality paper. I like it, but I couldn't buy it
because he only brought one print of the Android's Dream of Electric Sheep cover and sold it immediately.
You can order it.
Yeah, that's not the point. I wanted to buy it directly from him and look him in the eyes and say, Donato, I'm buying this.
He's going to be in Nashville, I think, if you call him.
Donato, I know you.
So he's got his number on his website. You can call him and say, do you want to swing down?
Why is he going to be in Nashville?
Because you're going to call him. Was that not clear?
Not at all. You said he was going to be in Nashville.
When you call him, he'll come down there.
I'll probably make it to New York before he makes it to Nashville.
That's true. We should plan a New York trip.
Everybody meet us in New York. June. Dates would be June 10th through the 20th.
Let me see what those flights are. We should split an Airbnb in New York.
Hanging out.
Me, Kelsey, and I don't know, Alex.
Sorry, Sarah, if you're listening.
Maybe like who else can we get for money? Do you know anybody that just has a lot of food? I mean,
Don't worry. Kelsey and I will feed.
man, I have got to work on this painting. Not like
Alan's gonna
I'm not
paint.
complaining, but I'm excited. Excited to
You want to break
finish
it down? What number of Gold Star paintings are you on right now? Out of how
I'm
many?
Number 2. I'm not.
Two
There's no
of-
out of.
Well, how many do you
I'm
have
gonna
planned?
do. I'm gonna do. Right now, I've only planned like 12 or 9 or 12. I think it's 9. But there's gonna be a lot more. I mean, I've got a story to tell. I don't know what that story is. It's more like an exploration. It's an open-ended anthology. How do you not get that?
I think everyone would benefit if you posted a little bit about your underpainting process, because I think that's one of the best parts of your process.
I gave them free tutorials.
Make more.
There's YouTube videos where you can see me do the underpainting.
Just post every underpainting that you do.
That's a good idea. All right. Okay, after this, while we're still here, I'll post underpaintings and a PSD. I'll just give them.
There we go, everybody. You've listened to us plan our immediate future for today.
Yeah, I mean, my day is kind of shot. Like, I went to the gym. I've done this. Apparently, I'm going to post some stuff. I've got to make food. I've got to wash clothes. And then by the time I sit down and start painting again, it'll be like 3.
So let this be a testament that, yes, we are ordinary people trying to be artists.
And then I've got to eat the food.
Even though your schedule gets busy, you can do it too.
Well,
You
I like
can
to
be
get
successful.
everything out of the way. So, like, all of these things that I have to do, I'm going to do them today. And then the rest of the week is just, it belongs to me. No matter what, if I want to do something, if I want to sit here for 12 hours and paint, I can. Everything's ready. I just go grab some food, I sit back down and paint. You know,
I keep
It's
a
all
few
done.
chores on the side for breaks.
Don't take breaks.
I'm a break kind of guy. I paint for an hour,
Really?
stare at the wall for 10 minutes, paint for an hour, stare at the wall for 10 minutes.
There's probably a hole in that wall by now.
I can see my neighbor, and she's not happy.
They have been staring at you this whole time. You've literally stared a hole into a wall.
Yeah, last time they asked me to be quiet when I was recording, I said some mean things, so they're just glaring at me, really. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Yeah, we kind of came to it. Yeah, I gotta go do some stuff.
We gotta go paint. You should paint too.
You should. What are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing? Why aren't
Wait,
you
we didn't
painting?
talk about a Lexicon.
What
Did
about
you
it?
like it?
Yeah,
I mean, you didn't go. Are we gonna go next year?
we're going next year.
Next year.
We're gonna have a shared. We're gonna get 2 booths side by side. Everyone come see the hanging out booth and hang out with us.
Depending on who's at Spectrum, like if more art directors go, I think we should go. If Spectrum looks like it's on the up and up, I'll go again.
You can
Yeah, I
also
think you
find
should
us
too.
at Spectrum walking around. We're not gonna have a booth there.
I'm gonna fly to Nashville and we can drive to Spectrum and to Lexicon. I would like that.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Do you want to drive?
I
Let's
mean,
just fly. Actually, never mind.
not really.
It's a dumb idea. Yeah, nobody wants to drive to a Lexicon.
Alan, it's got dumb ideas, everybody.
Oh,
You heard it here.
That's what I'm going as for Halloween. A guy with bad ideas. Thanks for hanging out. If you want to talk to us, if you have any ideas for conversations, if you just want to hang out, you can find more about us on our Facebook, Hanging Out with Bear and Alan. You can email us at hangingoutpodcast@gmail.com. I'm Alan. It's alanmarsart.com. You can find my new tutorial on hands. It's a 2-part, chapter 1, chapter 2, with some process PSDs. All of that at my Gumroad. Bear?
Did you have all that written down?
No.
I'm Bear. If you want to find me, I'm bearthepainter@gmail.com, at bearthepainter on Instagram, bearisleart.com. Find me on Gumroad this afternoon. There'll be some, PSDs and neat little things to play with for free.
If you are struggling to make meals on a regular basis and don't have the time to go to the grocery store and get healthy food, do not, I repeat, whatever you do not buy from Blue Apron. This is a counter advertisement, and until they pay me to say otherwise, I will promote against them.
Yep.
Because
Stay away from
I
Blue Apron.
can't survive without money.
They
as we
are
established.
monsters
Monsters. Do you think this is going to work?
until they pay us otherwise.
I'm going to send them an email.
I already did.
Oh. See you next week.